family here. I didn't invite them.
What? What do you mean? Today is the wedding of my brother, whom we love. We've been excited since this morning, and we are all looking forward to congratulating him.
Uncle's wedding sounds fun.
Yes, it is. We should all congratulate him. My daughter was also looking forward to today's ceremony. But the moment we arrived at the wedding hall, Viola, my brother's wife, started laughing hysterically at the sight of us. She looked at us as if she was looking at trash and said something outrageous.
It's bad for our reputation to have a poor, bottom-feeding family like yours at our wedding. I'm sorry, but I don't want to accept you as my family, even if you're my in-laws. Get the hell out of here!
What? What a horrible thing to say. My family was in an uproar. My brother and sister-in-law were still looking at us with contempt.
I guess we don't have to join the party. Shall we go home then?
My father said with a laugh. My brother and sister-in-law just looked at each other, not understanding what was going on. My name is Jenny, a 35-year-old housewife. I currently live with my husband Francis and our 11-year-old daughter Kristen. We got married 12 years ago. Francis and I were classmates in college, and from the beginning of our relationship, Francis told me,
I will marry only you. I can't imagine marrying anyone but you, Jenny. You're the one for me.
He was the kind of person who would say things like that. At the time, I thought he was crazy to say such a thing, even though we had not yet gotten to know each other very well. But Francis always took good care of me. For example, he made me porridge when I had a cold, did the shopping and laundry for me, and so on. He did a lot for me. I found myself thinking that it's obvious that I should be with Francis. Somewhere in my heart, I also began to feel that I would marry him and have a peaceful life. We started dating in the first year of college and had a good time without any big fights. But in the fourth year of college, I think I hit a wall for the first time. I was able to find a job relatively quickly, but Francis was having trouble because he could not get a job offer from the company he wanted. At the time, we were talking about getting married when I graduated from college at the age of 22. But things were not going smoothly. I have a brother, Pete, who is 2 years older than me, and he was studying hard in medical school, dreaming of becoming a doctor. We were close and frequently contacted each other, and my brother was supportive of my relationship with Francis.
Jenny, how are you doing? Is Francis trying to find a job? It's not easy in this day and age, is it?
I guess so. He hasn't been able to find a job. Francis is wondering what he should do now. Whenever I talk about this, my brother always takes time out of his busy schedule to visit me as a surprise, hoping to cheer me up. My brother and Francis are like real brothers who can talk about anything, and it makes me proud to see them. Francis does not have a close relationship with his family. His parents divorced when he was very young, and he joined his mother's side of the family. He once told me that his mother was a stay-at-home drunkard who never worked a day in her life. He went to college on a scholarship and had a part-time job after classes were over. So I think he was living on the edge.
The past is the past. I believe that if you work hard, good things will happen to you.
That's what Francis used to say. Francis did not get a job offer from his first choice company, but he got a job in sales at a small company, and we moved in together as soon as we both entered the workforce.
It's a great place to live, huh? It's an old apartment, but I'm sure we will have a good time living together.
We were still short of money, so we rented a cheap apartment. After a year of living together, Francis proposed to me and we got married. My brother, of course, was very happy about our marriage.
Francis, please take good care of Jenny from now on. Jenny is a bit stubborn, and it may be hard, but I will be there for you if there are any problems. Pete, thank you very much. I will spend the rest of my life making Jenny happy. You can rest assured.
Francis has put me first in his life, even after our marriage, as he declared. Francis' mother, I mean, my mother-in-law was not happy about him getting married, and when I went to greet her, she said,
You're only 23. Isn't it too early to get married? Shouldn't you have more fun with other people? Well, it's none of my business, but I'm not going to the wedding.
I remember that she was the opposite of Francis, who was kind and considerate. This was the first time I understood why Francis never came to his parents' house. My mother-in-law was not at all interested in the wedding, as she had declared, and insisted that she would never attend. Soon after, I became pregnant, and the ceremony had to be postponed. This was the first time I learned that there are parents who are not interested in their children getting married. My mother-in-law was not interested in her son's marriage, nor did she even come to see her grandson's face when he was born. Of course, she did not congratulate me, nor did she offer any words of congratulations. I think it was only my parents and my brother who were happy to see me whenever there was an event. Getting married is nice. Having a family is nice, is what I was thinking. I wanted my brother, who was already busy working as a doctor, to get married soon. But 12 years has passed since I realized that I had been doing nothing but wishful thinking. I turned 35, and he's 37. He was busy with his daily life. He could only meet people at the hospital, but I still wanted him to live a peaceful life. It was at that time my brother called me to say that he had something to tell me, and he was coming to visit us for the first time in a long time. My daughter Christine was overjoyed.
Uncle Pete's coming to visit us today, right? Is he going to stay the night? I hope he has a good time.
She was so excited. My brother showed up after work and says with a bright expression on his face,
Actually, I have a big news for you today. Don't be too surprised and just listen, okay?
What is it? My brother is smiling and doesn't want to talk about it, but he looks so happy. Could it be you found someone to marry?
That's right. Actually, I've got a girlfriend. We are finally getting married. Well, we've only been together a short time, but she's good to me. She's okay with my busy schedule. Her name is Viola. She's still young, but she's a hard worker.
She's 25 years old, 10 years younger than my brother. She is a nurse who met my brother at a hospital and told him that she had always dreamed of becoming a housewife and that she wanted to quit her job to support her family, even though she had obtained her certification. Both Francis and my daughter were happy for my brother, but I had a strange feeling. Her age and the fact that she had been in a relationship for so short a time made me think that it was too quick for them to get married. Moreover, I felt uneasy because of her dream of becoming a housewife, but my brother seemed happy to talk about it.
I had always seen you, Francis and Kristen, so happy. I've always been jealous of you guys. Viola's in a hurry to get the registration done before the wedding. It's killing me.
That's what Pete said. He was too happy to say anything else. You know, I think it's better to register after the wedding. I won't say anything bad, so just listen. I decided to tell him what I was thinking, but he didn't seem to understand.
Yes, you are right. I will do it. Thank you.
That's all that he said. Less than a month later, my brother's wedding preparations went smoothly. Despite my brother's exuberance, I had a bad feeling about this. Francis said to me,
Hey, Jenny, what's up? Isn't something wrong? Pete getting married is not a bad thing, right? We should congratulate him.
I couldn't keep my mouth shut because of my intuition. I had a bad feeling. But not long after that, when my brother came to my house with his fiancée, Francis understood what I was talking about.
Hey, my name is Viola. Thank you for your supporting our marriage. So you're the sister that he has been telling me about. I thought you'd be a more sophisticated woman because you're a doctor's sister. But you are pretty homely. Oh well, I won't have to talk to you much once we are married.
What? I was so stunned by her rude attitude that I didn't even want to say anything back to her. I looked at my husband and saw that Francis had a blank expression on his face too. My brother, who was in high spirits, didn't even notice this strange situation and was just listening to Viola talk. This woman is done for. I mean, Pete, you should definitely not marry this woman. If you marry her, it's the end of everything. I was thinking like that in my mind. But my brother didn't know that we were worried about him.
If I get married, I will be able to live happily every day like you and Francis, won't I? Anyway, we are going to have a big wedding to show our gratitude to everyone, so please look forward to it.
They were talking with a nonchalant look on their faces. As for Viola, she looked at us as if we were idiots, and finally snickered at us. If I could have gone back in time, I would have tried to convince my brother not to marry this woman. We couldn't help but notice my brother's exuberant mood. Even my daughter, who is still in elementary school, sensed it. Is Uncle Pete sure about this? That woman seems so mean. However, there was nothing we could do about it. And before we knew it, it was the day of the wedding. Although I was worried, I had not heard from my brother since that day, and I thought nothing unusual had happened. On the day of the wedding, my daughter was looking forward to the wedding. It's Uncle Pete's wedding today. I'm so excited. He said he's having a big wedding. I wonder how it's going to be. I've never been to a wedding in my life, so I'm looking forward to it. She was so excited. Although we didn't have a good opinion of Viola, we felt that the marriage was a big deal. So we changed our mind and decided to congratulate my brother. We dressed up in our formal attire and headed to the wedding venue, looking forward to seeing my brother happy. But as soon as we arrived, we ran into Viola. We gave her a smile, but she suddenly pointed at us and started laughing hysterically. Why are you guys here? I didn't invite you. I told Pete not to invite you. What do you mean? You didn't invite us? We are family, so aren't we supposed to be here? It's crazy to say such a terrible thing on such a happy day. That's what we thought. But Viola still had more to say. She looked at us as if we were trash and said something outrageous again. It's bad for our reputation to have a poor and bottom-feeding family like yours at our wedding. I'm sorry, but I don't recognize you as family. Get the hell out of here. What? We found our relatives had gathered around us, and there was an uproar. She looked at us with scornful eyes, taking advantage of our troubled faces, and laughed at us as if telling us to hurry up and go home. What a terrible thing to say. I was getting more and more mad, and wondered if we should still attend the ceremony. I had spent a fortune on the wedding gift, and I had even prepared a present for her, and I was looking forward to today's ceremony. My daughter already looked like she was going to cry. Francis is already looking red with anger. Enough. Let's go home. That's what I thought. I don't have to participate after being ridiculed harshly like this.
Then let's go home. I thought she was an insane woman, but I never thought she would say such a terrible thing.
My father said that while holding back his laughter. My brother and sister-in-law just looked at each other, not understanding why my father was laughing. My brother came in the middle of the party and looked pale. But to be honest, we didn't care anymore. I agree. Let's go home. No need to pay a lot of money for someone like this. Then Viola said, What? What are you talking about? I was just expressing my honest opinion. What's wrong with saying you're a poor family? And it's true that it's going to ruin our reputation. What is wrong with you? She looked like she was about to cry. My father immediately started to get ready to go home, and my mother said with a look of disgust on her face, Viola, you're saying that my daughter's family is poor and are bottom feeders? Don't judge people by their looks. But,
Jenny, your husband is a businessman working for a small company, right? Of course he's poor compared to a doctor. I never said anything wrong.
Francis used to work as an office worker a few decades ago, but things have changed drastically over the years. Of course my brother knows this, and he looks at her because she is not sure what she is talking about. Just because someone is poor, you shouldn't call them bottom feeders. It is true that he worked for a small company right out of college, but now he's the president of a company with over 100 employees. A doctor's income may be very high, but now my husband definitely makes more money, and he can take his vacations more freely. The man she had ridiculed as being a bottom feeder was now earning more than the man who would become her husband. Viola could not hide her surprise and shock.
But I was going to marry a doctor because of his good income. I can't stand the idea of having someone around me who makes more money than a doctor.
Viola's comment created a tense atmosphere. Then, 4 minutes later,
I'm not going to marry you after all. I never thought you'd make fun of my family like this. Besides, getting married for the paycheck is never going to work out.
my brother, who had been looking forward to getting married so much, announced in front of everyone that he was breaking off the marriage. Everyone was astonished. My father was trying not to laugh all the time.
Yes, I think it's a good idea. Pete, you made a good decision. It's not a good idea to marry someone who doesn't respect her in-laws in the first place. Besides, she's a money-grabbing woman. It would destroy the family for sure.
My father said that to Viola. It seems that Viola's parents are the same kind of people who make fun of people like her. I remember that my parents did not congratulate my brother, even though it was a very happy occasion for his age. Perhaps they saw through Viola's true nature. Viola's face pales when she is told that the wedding is cancelled.
Wait a minute! It's crazy that everyone is rallying against me and making me look bad. Today is my wedding and Pete's. I'm supposed to marry Pete. Please don't say such strange things to me.
She was saying this with tears in her eyes, but everyone was looking at her coldly. It's up to you and my brother to decide whether or not to get married. But I'm not going to have anything to do with you if you keep calling me a bottom feeder.
Me neither. I'm not going to have anything to do with you. Who makes fun of our family? We'll leave you now.
Francis and I said to Viola, who was crying, I've been made fun of a lot in my life, so it felt nice to say something like that. We left the wedding hall, and shortly afterwards, my parents and brother had a meeting with Viola's family and decided to cancel the marriage. Viola broke down in tears at the sudden cancellation of the marriage and kept insisting that she will definitely get married.
There's no way he'd cancel the wedding so soon. I'm going to marry a doctor and live a life of luxury.
The more Viola talked, the more awkward the atmosphere became. In the end, it seemed that Viola's brother was the only sane one in the family.
You know, you shouldn't do this. It's so embarrassing. It's your fault, isn't it? I can't forgive you for trying to marry a doctor for his fortune.
He tried to convince her. Her brother suggested that the person who caused the trouble should pay the cancellation fee of the wedding. I heard that Viola's side paid all the fees, perhaps because they didn't want to make things worse. I guess my brother might have been shocked that he could not marry her. But as for me, I'm glad that he could see her true nature before he married her, instead of marrying her and having her be in control of everything. As for Viola, all I can say is, take that. After that, my brother came to our house to apologize to us, and we thought he would be depressed, but...
No, actually I'm glad. I almost became a divorcee, you know. You told me that we should get registered after the wedding, and I'm glad we didn't do it before. Thank you.
I'm so relieved to hear that you're doing better than I thought. My daughter cried too.
Uncle Pete, I hope you find someone kind this time. You're a cool guy and has a very kind personality,
So I'm sure you will find someone nice soon. She made us smile. Anyway, my brother seems to be in a good health, and we were relieved that we didn't have to pay any unnecessary money. After that, my husband and I were laughing and saying that we have to keep an eye on my brother from time to time to make sure he doesn't get caught by some strange woman. But we hope that one day he will meet someone with whom he will feel at ease.